in the rest of the country, Hoosiers are experiencing the ever larger effects of a changing climate, including more extreme and frequent weather events. Multiple surveys have found that most Hoosiers, regardless of political party, support policies that help address climate change and do more to develop alternative energy sources. What policies do you think are needed to address climate change?
Well, something I did that was unexpected, and it was only 6 months after I got into the U.S. Senate. Senator from Delaware, Chris Coons, had been trying for 2 years to get a climate caucus started. A caucus means you have to have somebody from the other side. Well, when you're down to a freshman senator, that's getting desperate, number one, and that means everyone else said no. I didn't hesitate then. Get a few texts from back home, have you gone to the dark side, what are you doing? Well, on issues like climate or healthcare, or a lot of the things we as a party nationally choose not to get put it on the table. I say you're going to be on the menu politically, and you may not like the policy. Then we complain about it. So that has been an interesting discussion, that if you don't like the Green New Deal, you still know that something's afoot, well, what's your response going to be? That has changed so much from July or August of 19. It's been the most active caucus by far in the U.S. Senate, and it puts me in an excellent place to discuss it. In the last 2-3 months, we've had all the leaders on nuclear technology, which was taboo on the other side of the aisle. Well, they want lower greenhouse gases. You're not going to get it all with windmills and solar. You know, that's intermittent, especially till we get battery technology to line up with the solar side. That is something I feel good that we as a state could lead on, maybe with a consortium of states, now that that is back on the table. There are other approaches like hydrogen. There's a lot of technology out there that's ready to disrupt it. If you're not in there in the conversation, again, you're not going to be crafting a solution. And I think states probably get more done there than the federal government, because remember, you need 60 senators for that. And that's going to be hard to corral in today's climate. But it's an important issue.
Well, here again, from a scientific standpoint, I'm not an expert on climate change, obviously. But I believe that whatever we are contributing to it, we need as a state to look at opportunities to make more sustainable energy choices. Now, being a Navy veteran, I would like to see us do more research and spend a little more effort on the idea of nuclear energy. I believe there are about 669 nuclear power plants worldwide, and there have only been a very small, like 32 incidents of people being injured or killed in relationship to nuclear energy. So a lot of the concerns that people might have about safety, I think we can do a better job of letting folks know that this is, this isn't the 1980s. I'll say that we've got nuclear submarines and nuclear aircraft carriers working safely all over the world in our Navy. And so I think that that is an energy source that we should be looking at really, really strongly to help to reduce some of those climate issues.
Yeah, there's a whole lot that we haven't done in Indiana that needs to be done. And these aren't radical, these are very common sense. We are one of 11 states that's not a part of the Climate Alliance. That is bipartisan with governors. So day one, do our homework, and how do we become a member of the Climate Alliance? Because we're not in isolation. So we need to do this in partnership with our neighboring states and the world. So Climate Alliance would be the first thing. The other piece of that is, right now we're at a huge time where our water is at risk, our soil's being compromised, compromised. You know, our air, I come from a 5th generation farm family. My dad was a soil water conservationist. My husband was in water quality before he became a science teacher. I mean, there's a whole lot of layers to what we need to take care of, but we still don't have a water management plan. And I bring that up because it's all interconnected. We need to take care of that because of our, you know, our wetlands that are very, very connected to our concerns with what's happening with our climate. And we have wiped those pretty much away in the state of Indiana, very, very, very nearsighted. So long term, we need to have a plan. We need to protect our natural resources. We need to make sure we're part of Climate Alliance. We need to make sure we're transitioning to greener, smarter energy, which I think there's a big appetite for. We just have to have those incentives, whether it's dollars or whether the private partnership is there, that there are a lot of people willing to go, but you have to have leaders who also embrace that and understand that. A perfect example I can give you is, again, when I was in charge of half of the state budget at the Department of Education, we worked closely with Purdue University on their Climate Research Center, and we brought tons of resources for K-12 so that people would be educated, including those who were trying to teach about it and then the kids in which we were trying to teach. And we had great response from that. And once we left office, all that came down. And we had people reach out and say, where did that go? We were using it to teach kids about the power of, you know, being smart with our energy and, you know, water usage and the wetlands. And, you know, that's just a reflection of you either are trying to solve and be a part of the solution or you're trying to run away from it. And in this time, we're done with that. We have to change the leaders.